Hey y'all, welcome back. Today I am going to give a garden tour. It has changed a lot since my last video, so I'm going to show y'all around, show y'all what things are looking like, and then I've got a lot of beans that I need to harvest, so I'll just take y'all along. And I also have some sugar snaps. I think there might be some cucumbers, and then I'll pull up some potatoes, that way y'all can see what they're looking like. I believe today would be 70 days that the potatoes have been in the ground, so we're gonna leave them for another 20. But we did pull up some that were in the pots, and they were a nice size, so I'll pull up a plant so y'all can see. We do want to keep a record of how many beans we're getting, so yesterday my mom picked off her row, which is this row right here, 8 pounds, and then my cousin Reagan picked 12 pounds off of his row, and that was the first picking for him. And then I'm not sure how many pounds my aunt and uncle have picked off theirs. I'll have to ask them to keep a log of that. So let's go ahead and get started. It's really exciting because we're finally harvesting. This is the best time. I do want to say that this year though, the pests have been crazy. So last year we had no problems with pests on our squash and zucchini, and this year I have already had to spray them. So I'll show you a little bit about what I've sprayed them with, and then I'll just kind of give y'all an update on everything. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have already picked some beans already this week, just a small portion, not much, but you want to pick them when they are about this size, and then some of them are already a lot bigger. You want to pick them while they're younger. But even if they get big, that's okay. They're still tasty. You can cook them all different ways. I like to bake mine, roast them in the oven, or even steam them. This year my goal was to try and can some, so if we just get a whole bunch, I'll try to can them. I have never canned beans before. So a lot of them right now, they're still on the lower part, and the beans up high, they're not ready yet. So I'm picking all the ones down low. You can see right in here, it's right here, got some. Honestly, this row is about 45 feet long probably. So I'm gonna be here for a while, and today is hot, so I may have to go change into some shorts. The mosquitoes are already really bad. That's why I wanted to stay in jeans, but it's so hot. If you've never grown beans before, it is so simple. Honestly, anyone can do it. You just dig a little furrow about 1 inch deep, and then throw your seeds in there. You can plant them thick. You could plant them a couple of inches apart. It just depends on how thick you want them. I do know what I'm gonna do differently. I'm gonna try to grow another round in the fall, and what I'm gonna do differently is probably space all of these rows further apart. I think they're 3 feet apart right now. If you'll see in the video, you might see like some of the leaves are yellow, discolored, and it doesn't look good on the bottom. I think there's not enough sunlight getting to the bottom. So next time, I think I'll space the rows out differently, And then I want to plant my beans not as thick. That probably sounds crazy, but I just want to try different things, so see what works best. They're just so crowded, which is good. There's a lot of beans, but once you do it, we've done this several times already. I've planted beans now for 4 years, I guess. Not to this extent, but now I know kind of how I want to do things. So it's just, you know, everything's an experiment, and you try it out and you get different opinions on how you like to do things. And then some people like to plant them super thick, so it just depends. You'll figure it out. This is going to take me a long time. I'm only in like the first 3 feet. I am actually supposed to be leaving in an hour to go to my in-laws. We go there every Sunday, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of these beans today. I hope I can. Videoing and gardening at the same time takes like 3 times as long. Plus, with all of these beans being on the bottom, it makes it even harder because you're on your hands and knees looking. Wow, look at these. These beans are actually a bean that has been passed down in my family. And so we're not sure of the type of bean that it is, but my cousin thinks that it may be what's called a Cherokee Trail of Tears, which would make sense because my great grandmother, so my mom's dad's mom, was Cherokee Indian. So these beans could possibly be the Cherokee Purple Trail of Tears, is what. Look at all of these. Oh my goodness. There's so many. They go all the way down. And what I do is I just pinch right off the top. They're such a beautiful color. So they're a purple green color whenever you pick them, and then once you cook them, they turn green. So I'm gonna be here for a while. Oh, that breeze feels so good. It's in the high 80s today. So it is definitely warming up, and it is very humid because it's been cloudy and rainy the last few days. I'm going to go ahead and knock this row out. I'll get a little bit of clips here and there, and then I'm gonna show y'all the rest of the garden. Scratch that. I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a garden tour, show y'all the difference in the last month of how things look, talk about a couple of things before I get all hot and sweaty because it is so hot. I'm gonna throw my hair up in a bun and get to picking those beans. So first, I'm gonna show y'all everything. That was a branch that just fell out of that old pecan tree. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all everything and then get to the beans. All right, so let's just go ahead and start with the beans. We have 4 rows that are about 45 feet long, 40 to 45 feet. This is my row. This is my parents' row, my cousin Reagan, and my Aunt April and Uncle Steve. And then from what we pick, we give some to my grandmother. Next year or in the fall, I would like to, for myself, have 2 rows because my goal is to also can. So I want to can enough to have beans to last us, I don't know, eat beans once a week for a year. So let's just say if I had 52 quarts, I'd be happy with that. And I know I could definitely get that off of 2 rows. And we also want to eat them fresh. So they've already picked theirs. So now it's my turn. Then we have a new addition to the garden, and I'll throw in some clips, but this is going to be our sweet potato bed. We put down hardware cloth down on the bottom, and then we're gonna do a layer of cardboard, probably just soil, some topsoil for the rest of the way. I know that's a lot, but we have a place here in Mobile where you can get it for $40 for a whole truck bed full. And then Steven burned with his torch the wood to help seal it, and I don't know what it's called. I can write it down so y'all can see it on the screen, but I believe it's a Japanese method to seal the wood, so that's what we're gonna do. My cousin Reagan, he planted something here. I'm not sure what this is. This is supposed to be zucchini. My husband had to plant all of these for me 2 weeks ago because I could not walk for a week. I had to get stitches in my toe. It was awful. I almost cut my toes off. So here we have, this should be zucchinis. And then we have squash. They've grown, they look beautiful actually. This plant right here looks beautiful, and so does that one. So I've been coming out here and checking every morning for worms because, I'll show you right here. I come out here and the blooms have just been severed off, and it's really discouraging whenever you put a lot of hard work into, here's another one. So I came out here one morning and I found some worms on the squash. They are eating through the blooms and just making the blooms fall off. I've had about 15 blooms that I have found underneath the plant. So I will show in just a little bit what I put on there yesterday. I'm part of a Lower Alabama gardening group, and they suggested BT. So BT is a bacteria that will kill all different types of the bad worms, but it is safe for ladybugs, bees, earthworms. It's safe for all of your good pollinators. So that's what I did. And I sprayed a lot on there yesterday, so I hope the worms are not going to be a problem anymore. We've never had worms on our squash and zucchini, but the pest this year, it has been ridiculous. So here is my row of bush llamas. I planted these every 3 to 4 inches. These are Haas Tools. I'll put the name on there of what kind of bush llama this is, but I'm confused because these little stems are growing everywhere as if they're trying to climb. It's almost like they're supposed to be climbing up a trellis like the beans. But they are a bush llama, so I'll put that. If you've ever grown this variety, let me know. Here we have our 3 rows of potatoes, purple, gold, and reds. And we have pulled, oh, I see bees in there. Lots of bees and wasps today. And here are the sugar snaps. Finally seeing so many. Let's see. I'm gonna try to find one that looks kind of filled out. There we go. I'm gonna have to probably put some stuff on here. There's some aphids on these, but let's give it a taste test. It could be sweeter. It is really good. I've never grown these before. I've only had them in the store. Look what I just found. This is not good. Not good at all. So I'm not sure. I know you're supposed to pick them whenever the inside is filled out more. So this one's pretty thick. Oh yeah. That one's a whole lot sweeter. The purpose of growing these was just to kind of have something to snack on whenever we're out here for Lincoln and Joanna. So these are just kind of a fun thing to have in the garden. And they're so crunchy. Let's check on the cucumbers. I just noticed this potato plant. I overwintered some potatoes I planted back in the fall. It was about this big last week. No, 2 weeks ago, it was about that big. And look how big it's already gotten. I don't know if I'm gonna get any potatoes off of it because of how late it is in the season already for potatoes. But we'll see if we get anything from it. I did pick or pull about 5 potatoes up. Tons of blooms on our cucumbers. There's a cucumber right there. Oh wow, okay. Right here. And that one's ready. This variety is Hostel's. This is like their national pickling cucumber. If I would have waited any longer, that would have been too late. These you want to pick when they're pretty small. My poor English peas. I'm so behind planting these, but I'm finally seeing some pods. Here's a bunch. So I've got some right here. Hopefully I will get about 1 picking off of these, and then I'll just pull them all up. Look how beautiful this is. I planted these a couple of weeks late. I did not know that they had to be planted when it's still cold. So when all this is finished, I'll pull that up, and then I could do kind of like succession planting, which I'm new to that whole thing, but hopefully all right here I could plant some more beans or some more cucumbers. And then here is another look at the potatoes. They are laying down. They've got about 20 days left, but the size is great so far. So I'm debating on pulling up a plant or not. We've only pulled 2 plants, and then my grandmother got all of her potatoes out of her pots already, and she's planted some green onions and stuff like that. So I do want to show y'all and then keep on record what the potatoes look like for 70 days. So our goal is to harvest all of the potatoes at once. I would love to make a video on a huge potato harvest, but at the same time, when you harvest them all at once, if you don't store them the correct way, they'll go bad. So I go back and forth between, do I want to go ahead and pick a plant so I can have it for dinner tonight, or do I want to save it all for we can just weigh it and just have this big massive harvest and it'd be so cool. But there's other people involved in this garden, so I kind of feel a little bad sometimes if I pull stuff, but I'll let them know and they'll be okay with it. It'll be fine. So let's go ahead. The other day whenever I pulled a plant, every potato came up, and so I just wiggled it a little bit, but it doesn't feel like every potato is going to come up with. All right, we're gonna have to do some digging. Wow, this is a nice size. how beautiful. So underneath this soft soil is hard clay, and I just found, oh wow. I'm gonna have to go look in the other place where I got some potatoes and make sure I'm not missing some. Holy cow. Okay, I thought that was bigger than what it was, but that was deep in there. So now I'm gonna have to really dig in this clay. I didn't think that they would be down that. Okay, here's something interesting. This must be the seed potato. And it's completely empty. Okay, so from this one plant, I've got 2 handfuls, and this is at 70 days. So if we wait another 20 days, you can imagine how big these would be, but this is a great size, and this is enough for a meal. I'm not gonna wash them, I'm just gonna let them dry and then brush off the dirt that dries. And then there's still 2 potatoes on the ground. So you can see from one plant how much you get. Okay, so that was a lot of fun digging those up. Probably one of my favorite things to grow because you never know what you're gonna get until you actually harvest it. It's like a treasure hunt. It is so much fun. So here is a look at the garden. It is May 7th. My limas, I should start seeing something within the next week. I'm hoping. Squash and zucchini. Our sweet potatoes from Haas Tools will go there, and he's planted some tomatoes. And then we have all of our beans. So here is a look at the garden in May. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on my beans. I've got a whole row on both sides to pick. That is gonna take a good while, and I will pick back up whenever I have everything harvested, and I'll show you how much I got. There's already a ton of mosquitoes. And then the yellow flies are also really bad. I've been contemplating on getting the woods behind us sprayed because that seems to be where all of the mosquitoes and the yellow flies come from. There are so many beans. It's like I pick them and then I go back and look, and then I've missed some. This is when it would be nice to have like those little finger gloves, and you just like pinch the beans off, because I'm having to use my fingernails, and every season after picking beans, it's like my finger, my thumb and my index finger are sore. Maybe I should invest in those. If you have those and you use them and they work good for you, let me know if it's worth it. I hope I'm gonna get to all of them today. I really need to because of how big they're already getting. I don't think I can wait. When you start seeing the bean on the inside, it's too big. I mean, it's okay, you can still eat it. I definitely missed these. These are huge. So once you start growing beans and you start harvesting, I'm always out here every other day. Sometimes I skip and go like 3 days. But if you've had a heavy rain, they grow extra fast. So you gotta pick them more. Here's some. This is gonna take me forever. And it's hot. It's burning up, y'all. All right, so here's what we harvested. This is pretty much the first harvest. almost a full 5-gallon bucket, a basket full, and I weighed both of these and it was 20 pounds. So I'm gonna weigh my bucket and my basket and subtract that to see how many pounds of just beans we got from the first picking on one row. And I'll total up all 4 rows. But that's a lot of beans for just one row, and that's the first picking. So far, so good. And then the potatoes, this was just from one plant. And we've got 3 about 45-foot rows of potatoes to harvest in about 20 days. All right, thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video of the bean harvest, and be on the lookout for our potato harvest video in about 20 days. And I will see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.